Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tempcast, the official GBAtemp podcast. I'm your host, the Alan John. Joining me today is Eric Zander.
Hey guys, Eric Zander here. Very glad to be part of the official GBAtemp podcast renewal.
And also joining me is Steven.
Hi, what's going on, guys?
Thank you, Steven. Tonight we're going to be discussing a wide variety of topics, different things that happened in the gaming world in this past week. Starting off, that PlayStation 5 trailer. Guys, what do we think?
I liked the leaked trailer. It didn't really give us a whole lot, but it sort of felt to me sort of reminiscent of older game trailers where they didn't really show gameplay as much as they showed sort of live actors. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's just my first thought of it.
I thought I see what you're saying, where it was kind of like the old game trailers, but I feel like with something like that, it could kind of set up like a tone or a mood for the actual game, or it might give you some story information. With a console, I felt like having a live actress kind of running around and going to different game worlds is just, I don't know. I guess it's hard to advertise a console without giving any hard details, because I don't know, what the tone or the mood of a console is, right? Like it's just this kind of vague, ephemeral thing that says we're gonna have games on the PS5 and that's it, right? I don't know. It's a hard thing to latch onto and really get a lot out of, I thought.
Yeah, well, I kind of agree with you, but then again, I sort of understand like the point of making a console commercial. It's got to put it on TV. You got to get the normies to see like, oh, there's a new PlayStation. But at the same time, yeah, I kind of agree with you that they should have probably like showed some kind of games on the PlayStation 5 playing. Like, I don't know. What kind of PlayStation 5 games are there? Like exclusives?
I was going to say, well, there's stuff like Demon Souls, but I don't think we have a good idea of what the launch lineup looks like yet either. So again, yeah, I understand what you're saying, that they need to put this out there for regular people, and that's fine, but it's just hard for enthusiasts and people that are following this closely to get excited about it, because there's not a lot new in it. It's just another announcement that the PS5 exists.
Yeah. I'll that it didn't get me very excited as somebody who's sort of in the scene and sort of familiar with what's going on. But I didn't think it was necessarily bad. I think it's similar because Sony has this tendency to release commercials where real actors are interacting with characters like storming the city with Kratos and Nathan Drake and a bunch of others. This was a little different. But yeah, it kind of said, hey, look, we got this haptic feedback thing going on. Or
Yeah, but how are you
feel
going to
like
show that? Like, I don't get it. Oh, there's a woman standing and there a bullet, like, or an arrow went right near her ear or something. Like, okay, I don't see how that equates to like haptic feedback or any other, functions of the controller. Just doesn't translate well.
No, and it's not like they could do a broad television commercial for a wide audience where they have someone sit down and explain haptic feedback in very understandable terms. But it feels like almost like a no-win situation. I don't know what that commercial looks like in a way that really communicates anything other than there's a new console with games on it, right? Like,
Nintendo doesn't have this issue. If you noticed, like, even if you look back at the trailer for the freaking Wii U, you could see like, oh, you can play on the TV, but if somebody else wants to use the TV, you could just transfer it to your gamepad. And also you can play like board games on your gamepad. And even though these board games don't even exist, like, yeah, you can play them. They showed concepts of utilizing their console. Same thing with the Switch even. Like, they showed even the rumble, the haptic feedback, and the controllers quite well. Like, oh, you're like pouring a glass of water into the joypad, or whatever it's called, Joy-Con, and you can actually feel it. And they visualize that quite well. But in the PlayStation 5 controller trailer or whatever that was, they just, in the end, like, oh, it's got 3D audio, or it's got haptic feedback. Like, didn't visualize that correctly at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was weird that at the very end they just threw a bunch of terms at you. Like it was almost like the blast processing from back in the Genesis days, right? Like they just terms that don't necessarily mean anything to a lot of people. I'd say about the Nintendo consoles though is a lot of Nintendo's consoles have a very easily definable gimmick to them. Like, yeah, it's easy to show off the Wii U gamepad or the Switch's thing, but like, and I think even the ice cubes in the glass of water thing they did for the Joy-Con, I don't know if that was put on wide television commercials. I remember that being part of the original Direct announcement, and like, I get what you're saying that they communicated the tactile sensation through a video very well, but again, they didn't necessarily slow down the wide television commercials that well to sort of sit down and explain that, because it just takes too long. It's not quick or snappy enough for that audience.
Does anybody remember, like, David Lynch made a PlayStation 2 commercial that didn't make any sense?
I did not know that, but that makes sense to me. Yeah.
It sounds like something
awesome.
David Lynch would do, but no, I haven't seen it or heard of it, I don't think.
Sony used to do these crazy PlayStation 2 commercials, and I think maybe for the PlayStation 3 as well. I can't remember.
I was about to say, are you sure? Are you sure it's not a PS3 one? Because I remember the ones with the scary, creepy baby, and for the PlayStation 3, and like, do you remember those ones?
I'm gonna search for that while we discuss like more stuff concerning PlayStation. Like, what kind of lineup do they have? Like, it's obviously better than the Xbox. Like, what is it even called? The Xbox Series X?
The Series X, yeah.
That game is just a Game Pass machine. At launch, it doesn't have any value in terms of console exclusives, but PlayStation 5, what does it have? I can't remember.
Bug snacks.
Bug snacks. Is that an exclusive?
Yep.
Oh, is it an exclusive?
No.
It is an exclusive. I thought. Well, that's
might.
definitely one of my first launch titles. I'm not even like memeing right now. Like that looks genuinely really good to me.
It looks adorable. Yeah, I'm into that. But I don't think they've announced what's a launch title so far, because I know some of the exclusives they've announced, they've got Spider-Man and Horizon, Gran Turismo, Demon's Soul, Ratchet and Clank, stuff like that. But have they confirmed any of them for launch?
Well, Spider-Man, it's got a holiday 2020 release. So,
okay, yeah. Yeah, Spider-Man, I was going to say for sure has to be a launch title. I mean, watch this video, or not age very well, but I think that it's going to be a launch title. And, I guess I don't know about any other ones specifically. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 5 is probably going to be a launch title.
Oh, yes, that's how you start a console. Yeah, that's how you launch
I think that was, I'm pretty sure that was confirmed for 21, actually. I thought it was.
No.
Really? That's ridiculous.
I believe so. Let me check. I'll Google it, but I was pretty sure that said coming 2021. Yep. According to Rockstar Games website, is coming to new generation of consoles, including PlayStation 5, in the second half of 2021. So it's not even early 2021.
Second half.
Yeah.
That sounds like a mistake to me. Like that they would do that. I'm like, no matter what, I don't know. Grand Theft Auto prints money, baby.
Yeah.
You just change the resolution, and that's it. You add a little bit better textures, enable 60 FPS. That's all you do. How does that take?
I think this is getting new story content. This is like
No, it's not.
Is it not? I could have sworn.
No, I know what you're talking about, because like recently Rockstar did, hey, we're making the biggest update to GTA 5 yet. And it's just like a new heist or something.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at the... Yeah, I still got the announcement here. It's only talking about GTA Online. I could have... Yeah. Fuck. I was actually excited for new story content, but yeah, you're right. That's stupid.
There were leaks, legitimately real leaks on a website that's consisted of 4 channels. I won't name this website, but basically there were leaks of not Michael Franklin, like in San Fierro, or what was it called? the other cities.
San Andreas?
No,
San Andreas is where it takes place, and then there's Liberty City and Vice City.
yeah, but San Andreas, like the GTA San Andreas, originally consisted of Los Santos, San Fierro, and
I don't remember what the other one was.
it was like Vegas. It was like Vegas. But basically, yeah, they were supposed to add a new island to the game, but that was just scrapped. Like, they make so much money from online, like there's no point for them to make like a new single player experience in GTA 5. They might as well just allocate those resources onto straight up to GTA 6.
Yeah, who knows what that'll even look like. I guess if they need to make a story mode to Trojan horse the online into people's consoles, but they might not even need to do that anymore. They can, as long as they keep re-releasing GTA 5, they never really need to make a GTA 6 at this point.
Yeah, but I heard about this opinion on the internet recently. Like, it actually makes sense for them to re-release it on a new console, because like you can say whatever you want about the online aspect, but it's still alive. It's still got a lot of players invested like real money, real time into their gear and stuff like that in houses, and it would be a shame for that just to all go away because of the new generation consoles. So it's good that they can carry on, but yeah.
It is, but Grand Theft Auto 5 feels exactly like the game that should be on backwards compatibility rather than needing a new release and a new purchase.
Yep.
So, yeah, that makes me suspicious of how extensive any of this backwards compatibility is going to be beyond first-party titles, right? Like,
has Skyrim been announced for PS5 yet?
I think it's just assumed. They don't need to announce it. It'll just show up on the store one day.
I don't know if they did either.
No, I don't believe it has been.
Yeah.
I don't know. They've already announced Elder Scrolls 6 like years ago, and they haven't done anything with it yet. I feel like they need to slow down on the Skyrim re-releases until 6 is out.
They're doing what they did with what was done with Kingdom Hearts 3, where they announced it in like 2012, 2013, and then released it in, when did they release that?
2019, I think. Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
Alan John, did you find what you were looking up, or?
Yeah, I found found only PlayStation 2 commercials, but there were definitely like weird PlayStation 3 commercials. But yeah, there it is, PlayStation 3 baby commercial. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Like, there's a baby in a white room standing beside PlayStation 3, a black OG PlayStation 3 that's probably PS2 compatible, and the baby's meditating, raising its hand, and okay, this is too weird. Oh no, yeah, I'm closing this video. No.
I remember that video. I remember those commercials scaring the shit out of me as a kid.
That's what they should do for PlayStation 5, not this stupid, like, crap.
No, that was actually, like, it was attention grabbing, but I don't know. But even then, as a kid, even, like, it scared me and it got my attention, but I wasn't like, oh, I need a PS3 now. I just sort of forgot about it, and I separated it from the product because I knew it wasn't representative of the PS3, you know? I knew the PS3 wasn't going to be this Space Odyssey type monolith in my house that had, you know, scary, weird babies, whatever happened in that commercial.
Yep, I agree.
I don't know. I just TV commercials. I understand why they have to do it, but TV commercials for so many products like this always end up just being sort of generic, and I don't know.
Because it's made by marketing teams. Like, they're supposed to make it more accessible to the most common dividend, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we go to the next topic? Is everybody okay? Did we say everything we want to say about the PlayStation 5?
I think so, for me anyway.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
All right, great. So, our next topic today is Oculus and Facebook. So, recently there was this controversy happening that Facebook announced starting with its new Oculus systems, you'll only be able to log in using a Facebook account, and like until 2022, I guess.
23.
23, you could still use your Oculus login. You still have that, but starting soon, it's Facebook only. Yeah, so what do we think of that?
Yeah.
I think that up until 2023, you can use your Oculus account for your current hardware, but for everything that's going to come out starting now, it's going to require a Facebook account, I believe. Maybe
So
I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I believe that's true. Yeah. And you have until 23 to merge your Oculus and Facebook accounts, and if you don't do it by 23, then your Oculus account basically disappears, as I understand it.
It's very sad because I was like legitimately looking into purchasing the Oculus Quest just to play Beat Saber on something because that game looks so much fun, and turns out that you could buy it for the Oculus Quest. They have a special port of it there. But with this Facebook stuff, I don't have a Facebook personally. I used to have it back when you had to have it for some stuff. But then it was like deleted by Facebook because I had what was his name? You remember Predator, the movie? Dylan.
Yeah.
Well, that was his name. Yeah.
Oh,
Dylan.
Carl Weathers?
Yes, Carl Weathers. Yes, from Predator. That guy was my avatar on Facebook. I don't remember why. It probably had something to do with Coney 2012. If you could still remember that.
Yeah.
I remember Coney 2012.
And so, yeah, Facebook, like one day in 2013 or 14, wrote me, "Hey, we deleted your account because you're not Carl Weathers from Predator. We're like 99% sure."
Were you trying to pass yourself off as Dylan from Predator? Or did you just have his picture up?
I just had a picture of him as my profile picture because it was at that point where you couldn't have like a drawn anime avatar on Facebook. It had to be a real face, but it didn't have to be your face. It wasn't like that sophisticated yet. It was like in that middle period because it used to be like you could post anything. You could post a butthole on Facebook as a profile picture and it would pass. But now it's got to be your face. And yeah, I just uploaded, okay, carlweathers.jpg. Screw it. They wrote to me, they said, okay, you got to give us your real picture or else we're closing your account. And I'm like, okay, close it. I don't care at all.
And then you just never got a new one?
Nope, I don't care. Even though my friends, my family, they tried to get me to, like, oh, I want to send you this thing that's on Facebook, but I can't see it. I don't care. Sorry. I'm not registering there. No, and people thought of me as the local idiot. Well, now I'm the local idiot who foresaw
Doesn't have Facebook.
like everything that happened with Facebook. With its privacy issues and whatever. What do you guys think about Facebook?
Well, for me, I'm not the biggest fan of Facebook. I'll say that. Mark Zuckerberg, I think, is a crazy person. That said, I have a Facebook and I use it every day. It feels necessary for me. I don't have Instagram or Twitter, but I do feel obligated to use Facebook to basically communicate with people in my life. I have turned off basically as much data collection that I could, but obviously you're only allowed to stop them from tracking you so much. But it's one of those things where it's like, no matter what, even if you don't have a Facebook account, Facebook is tracking you. Like, if you have an Instagram owned by Facebook, if you have, even if you have just an Oculus using your Oculus account, that the data that Oculus collects is owned by Facebook. So it's like,
this is what I wanted to get deeper into. Like, what kind of data are we talking about? What kind of data does the Oculus system collect? Like, does it scan my room and then send that to Facebook? Does Facebook need like the geometry of my room
That's a good question. I don't know. Facebook is somehow able to track your thoughts because I genuinely think things and then I get ads for those things on Facebook, and I'm not even joking. Like that actually happens. It's really weird. I know that they're not actually tracking my brain, but I don't know how they're able to do that, and it's funky. But when it comes to privacy issues, I think it's one of those things where Facebook is free, so we have to pay for it somehow, and we are the currency. And I don't know what data Oculus collects, but I think that the Facebook's gonna have the same amount um, before or after the switch. Um, I don't think that people are. You know what? I want to know what Steven thinks before I keep going.
Uh, I honestly don't have a ton of thoughts on this, just because I don't know that much about Facebook. I know they've had a bunch of stuff come out about their privacy concerns, but I don't have Facebook either, so it's not something I follow super closely. I agree with the basic point you were making that whatever information they have, that whatever they're collecting, they were probably collecting it anyway from your Oculus account. I mean, if they own them, I don't know. I don't know how much resistance Oculus as a separate entity from Facebook can put up, right?
This just seems like a huge PR disaster. I mean, what does it cost for Facebook to keep Oculus, like whatever site they have, online? That's pennies for them. Why would they do this merging stuff? Like they could just collect that information as it is. This is just a PR nightmare.
Yeah, because the virtual reality audience is exactly the one that's going to be hyper resistant to Facebook also. Like people that are that into technology and the internet and stuff like that are exactly the people that don't want to be tracked by Facebook. It is an odd choice. I don't know what the benefit is for them, because it's virtual reality isn't widespread enough yet. It's not really hitting the Facebook audience.
I'll tell you the benefit. It's that Facebook is, and this is sort of cliche to say, but they're too big to fail at this point. Oculus makes them. I don't know how much money Oculus makes them, but I know that if it completely crashes and burns, it's not going to mean really anything to them. Um, I don't. I understand that people are going to boycott it. I don't think that that's in the long run going to be successful either. The Cambridge Analytica situation, which was probably the biggest um, um, controversy that Facebook has ever had, and a bunch of people quit, and they're like, "Oh, crud. Okay, so we don't lose any money. We bought Instagram. You guys still have Instagram. Well, not you guys, but young people still have Instagram,
Yeah.
and they just keep acquiring things. It's like, good luck living your life without Google around you. It's like
Oh
no
yeah.
matter what you do, you have Google watching, you have Amazon watching, you have Facebook watching, and that's just sort of the life that we're living now. And I don't think Facebook's really scared of being hurt by this. I'm looking at their stock price right now, and um, over the past 5 years, it's gone up 183% about.
Good lord.
So yeah, over 5 years, over the past year, and this is, start of the year wasn't Corona, and then it was. It's still gone up about 45% in a year. So it's just constantly growing. I don't think Zuckerberg is very scared of this, and he's going to say, "Hey, you got to have a Facebook account to do this." People are going to be like, "No, no, no," and then eventually they'll do it anyway. So I'm not saying it's right. In fact, I think it's wrong. I think it's not good. I'm just
Yeah.
saying I don't think that they're in danger because basically Mark Zuckerberg could get away with murder, and people will be like, "Oh, that sucks. Let's share some fake news on Facebook about it."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I suppose the benefit is eventually people are reacting this way now, but in a few years, people will get used to it, and something cool will come out for the Oculus, and then that audience will end up with a Facebook account. Not all of them, of course, but some will. And it just makes Facebook that much more ubiquitous, even if it's only a small chunk of it, and even if it takes a long time to happen.
hmm
I suppose the way you were driving it, yeah.
I think the best-selling VR headset is still like the PlayStation VR. It's the only
yeah,
one that's in the millions.
Yeah, and that would probably be the one that I'm most likely to get, just mostly because I know that it will work with my PS4, and there's some things that you can get limited functions on a PC with it as well.
Mm.
Um, I mean, like very limited, and I don't know what they are specifically. I'd have to ask Tom Bombadildo. Um, but yeah. Also, another thing that I thought of is I know that some developers are going to boycott this. They're going to be like, "Oh, I don't want a Facebook account. I'm not going to make a game for the Oculus." And it's like,
Oh
"Okay,
yeah,
well,
definitely. Yeah,
but you
because
have a
you
lot more
probably
to
have to.
lose as a developer by not developing for Oculus." Like the guy who did Minecraft, right? Didn't he say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm not gonna publish Minecraft for Oculus because I don't like that Facebook owns it." Q, not very long later. Okay, I'm over it. Here you go. So now it's on Oculus. So I think even the developers will see that Facebook's like, all right, we don't really need you, but you kind of need us. So deal with it.
I just
Yeah.
hope that Facebook doesn't like turn it and Oculus into Facebook VR or something. Like they have their own
Yeah,
streaming platform called Facebook Gaming, and
yeah.
what a terrible name. Like,
I've
well,
never
where
even
do
heard
you
of
stream?
this.
I stream on Twitch. How about you? Oh, YouTube. How about you? Facebook Gaming. Like, what the
Right.
No.
Does
It sounds like you.
Isn't the YouTube equivalent called YouTube Gaming though, or am I wrong? Am I confusing that with something else?
It used to be they used to push like the gaming sphere of YouTube real hard, like YouTube gaming. Yeah, there was like that thing, but I think now it's just YouTube. Because when
Okay.
you stream, like it doesn't care if you're streaming video game or not.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Is Twitch owned by Amazon or are they just
Yes.
partners?
No,
Okay, yes.
they're owned. You can
They're
have
straight up owned.
Amazon Prime and you get a free Twitch subscription.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a deal or if it was actually a parent company, but it makes sense. See? But like that, you wanna watch people play you like video games, right? So you're gonna go on Twitch. There you go. You're in Amazon ecosystem. Oh yeah, let's watch stuff on YouTube. Okay, there's Google right there. Let's play some Oculus games. All right, there's Facebook right there. So no matter what, you're not going to be able to hide from these companies gathering whatever data they gather in whatever means they do it.
Like yeah, right now in this time, it's basically pick your poison. It's either Google or Apple or Facebook or Amazon. It's one of those three or four. I mean, when sometimes you have to do both at the same time.
Speaking of Google and Apple, do you think
Okay.
that's a good segue?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a
Speaking of
perfect
monopolies
segue.
and
Monopolies versus monopolies.
Right. So yeah, you wanna kick that off?
Yeah, basically, everybody's heard of this by now, probably. Epic Games pushed a update to Fortnite on the Apple iOS store, App Store, or whatever, and through which you could do payments using Epic's own client built into Fortnite instead of the Apple one. And the reason being is that Apple has this payment system you can integrate into your app very easily, very straightforward, very nice looking, very clean, but it takes a 30% cut of everything. And Fortnite, well, Epic Games basically said, no, we're not going to do that. And they pushed an update. Immediately, Apple removed the app from its App Store. And after that, like, Epic released this CGI trailer short thing that mocked Apple's 1984 commercial back from 1984, I think.
yeah.
So, and they prepared like an entire lawsuit weeks ahead of this, which is basically against Apple's practice by taking the 30% commission through all payments. And also, like, something I've recently found out about this, if you're an app developer and you want to get like, well, let's say you have a payment in your app for $1, right? Apple takes 30%. So that's basically 30 cents. Well, what you could do, if my math is correct, you could like add $1.40. You just up the price up by like 30 something cents by 30%, right? And then you get your dollar back, right? No, you literally cannot do that. That's against Apple's terms of service. You cannot change the price according to the payment fee. So basically, Epic could have, just made Fortnite skins like 30 V-Bucks more expensive, but they wouldn't be able to do that. So that is so scummy for me. Like, you're still getting that money, Apple, but the developer is just getting less. That is so scummy. That's why I am on Epic's side. What do you guys think?
I will admit that I don't have a horse in the race per se. I'll say the one thing about what you said just now about Apple not wanting them to increase the cost to offset their percentage. And I see exactly what you mean about that being scummy, and maybe it is, and maybe I agree with you. But I also want to say that the alternative would be passing on the burden to the consumers instead of the developers themselves. So the developer raises the price. We have to, I don't play Fortnite, but we have to pay that price. And maybe Apple's saying, well, no, the burden should be on the developer to pay us. That said, 30% is a lot of money. And did Apple just, I think Apple just hit like $2 trillion in net worth. See?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
again, this whole thing isn't hurting them either. Because let me tell you, well, okay, I don't want to talk about stock splits and everything, but over the past couple days, Apple's stock has just shot up like 30%. It's ridiculous.
Really?
Well, over the past month, it's gone up 29%.
Oh
That has
my.
nothing to do with this. Did I say Microsoft? I meant to say Apple. That has nothing to do with this Epic Games fiasco. It has more to do with the fact that they're doing a I believe 4-to-1 stock split. But that's another thing where these companies are gigantic, and Apple's like, okay, Fortnite, bye. We lost a little bit of money, but Epic's going to lose more money than Apple's going to because of this. So it's one of those things where they can stronghold them. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but
Strong arm?
basically force strong arm. There you go. Yeah, basically force them to consent to Apple's terms, because if they don't and Apple decides to let Epic get away with this, that that could start a trend of other game stores doing that, and then Apple can start losing more money. So I think from Apple's point of view, they're just gonna nip it in the bud and say, nope, you can't do that, as opposed to having to let everybody do it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's what they're doing.
Yeah, but they're taking them to court. Like, kind of.
Well, Apple's got big lawyers. They have more money than Epic does, I'll tell you that.
I don't know much about law, but is it possible for the Supreme Court to force Apple to have Fortnite on its App Store? Is that possible? Or would they just be forced to pay like a huge fine?
I so
You got to get a lawyer on this podcast. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to make a prediction like that, in case I'm wrong, and then people yell at me, and then I get sued. So, it's like, I'll tell you this. If the court were to make Apple put Epic Games back on, that would be demanding specific performance of Apple to do something which might violate the 13th Amendment. But they could just make them pay a big old fine. Or they'll say, hey, in this contract dispute, Epic, you agreed to the contract terms, and Apple, you followed them. Therefore, Epic, you got no horse in this race. Apple might actually be okay with this lawsuit if it comes out in their favor, which I think it likely will, the Epic has. You know what? I'm not going to make a prediction on the case. Sorry, never mind. But I
Damn
think
it.
if Apple wins, I think that they could use this to their advantage to shut down other companies who try to sue them. If they lose, then it could open the floodgates. Um, but Apple's probably saying that it's pretty safe that they're going to win for very boring legal reasons that I won't get into. Steven, follow that up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm no lawyer.
Thank you, Steven.
Sorry. Sorry, I was trying to gather my thoughts for a moment. This whole situation, it's not just happening on Apple's App Store, it's also on the Google Play Store. Pretty much the exact same situation, the same 30%.
It really doesn't matter that much with Android because you could sideload apps very easily on Android. You could just go to the Epic Game Store website, just Fortnite.com or whatever, and just download the APK and install it. It's just like that. It's easy. On Apple devices, it's not that easy without jailbreaking your device and stuff like that.
But it's another one of those things where it's like, who's playing Fortnite? Okay, lots of people play Fortnite all over the place.
Yeah.
But I assume most of the people who are playing it on a phone are children or people who aren't playing it on their PC or a game console or something. I don't think sideloading I don't think
It's
most of
very
them will
easy.
just end up sideloading things. I know it's easy, but it's also
A kid can do it.
But
there are a lot of people that think anything more complicated than going to the App Store is just beyond. They just don't want to screw with it, right? It doesn't matter how easy it is. It's just too much of a hassle, or they're intimidated by the idea and they'll never look up how to do it. There's just a lot of people who are like that.
You have to Google it. First, you have to know that you can sideload. Then you have to Google it. Then you have to download it, and then you have to allow installation from unknown apps on your phone, and that's all easy. It's all easy. It's just a process, and I don't know if a bunch of kids will understand that. Also, there's a possibility that they'll go to the wrong site and download some you'd have to be kind of dumb, especially if Fortnite's website itself says, "Hey, download this APK," but it could happen. So I know it, okay, but you're right. It's not as big of a problem for Android as it is for Apple. It's a much bigger problem for Apple. I think it's still a problem for Epic for it not to be on either device officially.
Really, the thing with Google is that if this didn't make the news and Epic just pushed like the update quietly on the Google Play Store, nobody would have noticed because Google does not care about its Play Store quality-wise. It doesn't do any inspections, doesn't do any human reviews. Absolutely not. It's all done by algorithms and computers. Really outdated algorithms and computers. Like, you could upload viruses onto the Play Market quite easily. Google just does not care. And I'm absolutely sure that they took down the app only after news broke that Apple did the same.
Yeah, I feel like there was a few hours difference that when I was hearing about this story breaking between hearing from it coming down from the App Store and then coming down from the Play Store afterwards. So you're probably right about that, yeah.
It's what we talked about earlier, how you have to pick your poison between 4 companies these days. I picked Google, and I am 100% integrated into the Google ecosystem. I've got the Google Drive, I've got the Google Photos, I've got the Docs, I've got the email, I've got everything on Google. The reason I chose Google is that Google just doesn't care. Like, they don't have any customer service. I don't think anybody even works at Google, like any humans. It's just computers, AI, and that stuff does not care about me. Like, I doubt a Google employee is gonna look into my photos and stuff like that, but a Facebook employee or an Amazon one, that seems more possible to me. Google just doesn't care.
I have a question for just I know the answer, but I'm curious as to what you guys think. What company has more money, has more of a net worth, Apple or Google?
Oh, it's Apple. Definitely.
I would assume
Yeah.
Apple also, yeah.
Yeah, Apple has $1 trillion more than Google does.
Good lord.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that much.
Wait, that means Google has a trillion?
Google's net worth or net cap is 1.07 trillion
Oh, nice.
as of today, whereas Apple's is 2.13. That said, one stock of Apple costs about $500 today. One stock of Google costs about 1,600. So it's whack.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, Apple does
But
make
yeah,
twice as much money as Google.
Wow.
it makes sense because, Apple's got hardware side, it's got the iPhone, it's got the iPads, probably still got a couple of iPods, and Google's got nothing. They got the Pixel line up, and that does not sell other than the budget variants. And I doubt they make a profit on that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I don't
by
know.
the way, what do you
Sorry,
guys
go on.
use, Android or iOS?
I use Android. I have a Galaxy S10 Plus.
Nice.
iOS.
What about you, Steven? Oh, so you're...
Oh,
Yeah.
man, we're replacing this guy with Jordan next week, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's too much.
I know.
First he was 5 minutes late for the podcast. Now this.
Yeah.
No. One thing I didn't realize, I only heard after this story came out, this 30% fee also applies on Nintendo, on the Switch, on the PlayStation, and on the Xbox also. And Epic has specifically said they're not attacking those systems because they feel like the console manufacturers need to protect their ecosystem more than mobile and PC platforms do.
Does that include, like, in-app purchases?
Yeah.
Huh.
Apparently that's been I read an article on Bloomberg earlier in the week. I got it up here now. Apparently that goes back to when Nintendo first allowed people to start putting third-party games on the NES. They would manufacture the cartridges, which was they would charge them a 20% fee, and they would charge them 10% just to be on the console, and that's where the 30% tax originates from.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, according to Bloomberg. But yeah, so that's been pretty standard for a long time, and I don't know. It does seem slightly arbitrary, did not? Because they went after Steam with the Epic Games Store, because that takes a 12% cut as opposed to Steam's 30%, and now they're doing it on the App Store in a similar way. It does seem kind of arbitrary to not mount this same fight against the consoles, and I wonder if that's coming next.
So I just verified. You're right. I looked it up on the New York Times. Also says that they're all about 30%.
Yeah.
Apple kind of started the trend, but everybody else has followed. So 30%, I guess, is the industry standard, which makes sense, but it's also ridiculous.
It's a lot, yeah. Yeah, and everyone is down on Epic because, I mean, it seems like people came down on Epic with the game store for buying exclusives, which isn't great. Nobody likes that, but I generally support what they're doing. I mean, the 88% split for creators instead of 70 on the Epic Game Store makes sense. I think they're trying to do something good for developers here on the App Store and Play Store. Like, the hate for Epic always seemed to just kind of boil down to a pettiness over people not wanting to download a new launcher.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, more competition, the better. Like, I personally believe Valve wouldn't have released, like, a new Half-Life game if it wasn't for the Epic Game Store. That's just my opinion, though. But I think they really activated, after they smelled the smell of competition rising.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is possible, yeah. Like, they seem to be making some kind of change. I mean, I'm sure, yeah, they can get a lot more of a reaction out of Valve because they're also completely in the games market. I don't know how much they're going to be able to shake Apple or Google that make so much money outside of video games that they might not necessarily care about what Epic is trying to do, but...
Imagine if this forces, like, Apple to finally release Breakout 2.
All of this talk of Apple and Google and Valve and Epic makes me miss the conversation that we could be having about Nintendo Indie World right now. What do you guys think?
Dude, perfect segue. Yeah. We should talk about that amazing presentation that we all watched and we all waited for very eagerly in order to dissect piece by piece every single game that was shown on the Indie World Showcase or whatever.
Oh god, I didn't do my homework.
No, guys, seriously, September's coming soon, and they've got to announce like some kind of first-party games for the holiday season. And so far, it's radio silence. Is it possible that Nintendo's gonna announce like a real direct next week? Let's say, because that's the last week of summer. Is it possible?
I thought there were rumblings of that, but it's possible that the date that was rumored is already passed. Let me double check. I thought I heard a rumor about that.
Because
I have no idea.
we've been hearing so long about this Mario collection, and due to quarantine and stuff like that, it feels like time's moving even slower. It feels like decades. I've been hearing about like Super Mario Galaxy HD on the Switch. It's mind-boggling how they haven't announced that yet at all. It's coming up soon. When's the 35th anniversary of Mario? Or is it the 40th?
It came out in 85, so this would be 35.
Yeah.
Um,
Fun fact: I almost beat the original Super Mario Bros. In under 7 minutes, but I couldn't do it. I lost to Bowser. Sorry.
I doubt that. I'm sorry, Eric, but I really doubt that. Like, that sounds like something I would hear on a schoolyard or something from that sketchy guy. But
I'll time it. I mean, I'll show you. I'll show you the time. But yeah,
because
no,
I know the world record's 5 minutes, and that's tight.
Yeah,
It's
it is tight.
very tight.
But I could do 7. So, apparently I can't do 7. I could do almost 7. I could definitely do it in under 8 minutes. That's my record.
I need to see that on stream. And on original hardware. No emulators, okay? I don't trust emulators.
I have my roommate. He bought a original Nintendo with the Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. So original controller. We have our TV that's sitting on top of our refrigerator. So I stand while I do it. So I turn it on. The second Mario starts moving, I press start on the timer and I go. And then the second I get really frustrated, I slam it off. So, yeah, pretty cool though. What were we talking about? Oh, Nintendo Indie World. Let's stop talking about me.
So those, sorry, just quickly, those rumors come from a Reset Era leaker that previously got the release date of the new Paper Mario right before it came out, and a VentureBeat reporter have both said that there will be one around the end of August or the middle of September is kind of the general time frame they're giving. And it would make sense because it's been close to a year, I think, since the last Nintendo Direct, so it feels like something has got to be coming soon, right? Like,
the only thing first party that's coming from them soon is Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Other than that, nothing really, and that's very strange because this isn't the Wii U, all right? This is the Switch. 62 million consoles sold. It's already outsold the OG NES, right? I think it might outsell the Wii. Give it a couple more years. It's in the middle of its life cycle right now, and nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's weird.
It is really weird. I mean, well, the last big release was Animal Crossing, I think. They haven't had anything since March.
Yeah,
that was a success. That was like a huge success.
Oh yeah, because they did they do that like right at the start of quarantine or a little bit after? They picked the perfect time.
Right at the start.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, it was right at the start because GameStop was like, "Nah, leave us open," until they finally were able to sell some copies of Animal Crossing, right? Or was it? Oh, I guess it would have been Doom also.
Yeah, it was that weekend that they wanted to stay open through.
Yeah, and then they shut down Now they're back, and their stock prices is lower than ever.
Really?
I'm sorry. I know that this isn't super fun to have people.
No, this
No,
is
I'm-
actually really interesting. Wait,
I'm
are you
interested
talking
in
about GameStop or Nintendo?
GameStop.
Uh,
GameStop.
Okay.
Oh, wow. GameStop did good today. They went up almost 10% today.
Are you telling us we should invest in GameStop? Is this the message we want?
Absolutely not. Do not. Do not. It's down 90% over the past 5 years.
Wow.
No, Nintendo stock is always about the same. It's always about the same. It doesn't fluctuate very much. So
That's interesting. I'd expect it like to rise during the quarantine because the Switch has been outselling everywhere.
That's what I was gonna say. I know.
36% in the past year, which is good, but not as much as wait, actually, Sony went up 41%, but of course Sony makes money from everything, and PlayStation probably doesn't contribute a whole lot to it.
Yeah,
So
probably.
yeah,
Yeah, same thing with
Most
Microsoft.
Nintendo owns entirely the Switch and their games and that ecosystem.
There's two more, I think, Nintendo games that have been announced but don't have any specific release date. One is the Breath of the Wild sequel,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Metroid Prime 4. And other than that, there's nothing. I might be wrong. What other games are there that they've announced but not like coming this year?
I can't think of anything. I know there's, as you mentioned, the rumors of those Mario remasters, but I can't think of anything else that they've actually announced.
Me either. Just rumors. And I know that I told you guys this kind of recently. I haven't told the stream, but I have a tendency to be over enthusiastic about games. Like I like games that other people don't like. Like I liked Mighty Number 9, for example. But so I looked and I really like indie games. But going through the ones that were that were just announced, none of them looked particularly like something that I would buy.
Oh, I
Unfortunately.
remembered. It's Pokemon
Except for
Snap.
Everything.
Pokemon
Oh, yeah,
Snap's
Pokemon
coming out.
Ah, good call.
And
yeah.
Bayonetta 3. Also.
Oh, has that actually? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that has been confirmed. You're right, but that's still got no date or anything solid.
It's in deep limbo.
Yeah, and they're not. I think they're just publishing that, aren't they? They're not. That would be Platinum making it, I assume.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a second party, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I don't think they're second party because Platinum still releases other games. I think it's just that Nintendo is publishing the Bayonetta franchise now. So that's, I guess, a third party studio just getting a Nintendo published game. Kind of like Deadly Premonition 2 was Toy Box, but I think Nintendo published it. I could be wrong.
Do any of you guys have experience in video game development?
None.
I made a Flash game once.
Okay, so tell me this. When you know that a game's been in development for at least a year, and then the company posts on Twitter, hey, we're looking for a lead producer on this game, what does that mean? Like, I'm talking about
Bad.
Metroid Prime 4 right now.
It means bad. I don't know what it means.
Didn't they already announce that they had to scrap everything that was done on that game after they announced it and then start over? Yeah. So is it still having that trouble, the development?
Guys, I'll be gone for a second. You keep up. I'll be back soon, okay?
Okay.
Okay. We were actually, I think, towards the end of wrapping this up. We kind of went through the topics, right?
Yeah, should we do the outro without him and then we'll just both be gone when he gets back?
Yeah, that would be pretty fun.
And then he'll get back and just keep talking forever, waiting for us to come back.
He's like, man, you guys are being pretty quiet. Man, he is the host. Do we let Alan John end the Tempcast, the first official Tempcast, or do we steal that from him?
I'm scared of him. He
He
nailed the intro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you just the one big announcement at that Nindie Direct? Actually, I will say Hypnospace Outlaws coming to Switch. which I haven't played a lot of, but that was a cool PC game from about a year ago where you're exploring like it's almost like an early or a late 90s internet simulator, but it's got this very strange narrative going through it, and it's a little hard to describe, but it's a really unique game that I think people should look into before it comes to the Switch. It's unique.
Okay.
It's something that's hard to describe. But I was gonna say, Untitled Goose Game was kind of the only big thing at that direct. Have you played that, or do you have any thoughts on it? Like,
No, you know what? I haven't played it. I have any. I also don't really have any thoughts on it. You have it, right? You've played it.
I played it. I was not crazy about it like everyone else was. That game kind of fell flat for me. Like, I really love the premise and I love the art style and the music, but I found the actual gameplay just got a little repetitive. Basically, the way it works is you're a goose and you go from place to place and you sort of get into mischief and, cause trouble for people in this town. And
Yeah.
so you'll go to one area and it'll give you a list of tasks, and when you're finished, you go to the next one. And I found about half of the tasks on each list were like just kind of tedious and repetitive and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
so the big announcement they have here is that there's going to be a 2-player mode, which I don't know how to feel about. Like, it's so late after that game originally came out, and it doesn't seem like they're actually adding new content. I think it is just you can have a second player there while you're playing, and I don't know.
It's one of those pseudo 2-player games where one of you gets to collect gems. Like,
Yeah.
it's like yeah, we're playing 2 players. It's like I'm playing as Spyro and you can play as Sparks the dragonfly.
Yeah, one of you is the normal white goose and the other one is like, red or something.
Yeah. No, I haven't played it. My little brother, who doesn't really play video games at all, he did play it and he really enjoyed it. So I guess I would say that he's a very I don't mean this in a rude way, because like casual gamers are casual gamers and it's fine, but that's basically what he is.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I'm back.
like it if I played it, but hello.
Hello.
Have you played Untitled Goose Game?
Untitled Goose Game? No, I've seen a lot of it, and I've seen like enough in order to say like, okay, I get what this game's about. I'm not interested. It's cool though.
You know what? That's my opinion as well.
Yeah.
Just take that.
Yeah, that works. I played it. I was really excited for it. I like games like that. I was just telling Eric, it's just a little too repetitive and short. I mean, it's about 3 hours long and it still felt too long to me. It probably could have been like 90 minutes. But it has a lot of really cute touches. I think a 2-player mode, even though it looks like they're not really adding new 2-player focused content, could help make it work a little better, just because it is a game about getting into mischief. So having a friend there to watch you, fuck around with people would make it a little bit more exciting. So that was kind of the only thing from the Nindie Direct that sort of got my attention, and I'm not even a fan of Goose Game.
All right.
I'm glad we finally talked about Nintendo Indie World in detail, as we planned to.
In great detail.
Yeah. Once this cuts off, we can start talking about the Lion King 1.5.
Always.
Finally.
We have our scheduled conference call about the Lion King 1.5.
Yeah. That's all that I have. How you guys feel?
Yeah, that's pretty much all that I have too, and I'm pretty sure Steven as well. Is that right,
Yep.
Steven?
That is correct.
All right. That's great. So I guess on that note, we should be ending this podcast tonight. Guys, to those who are listening, if you want us to discuss like some specific topics, please feel free to write that in the thread that this will be posted in. And yeah, thank you guys all so much for listening. We'll try to make this thing weekly. And yeah, thank you and good night.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.